Ooh. Ba-bum, bum, bum, bum. Hopefully it's better now. Hopefully it's better now. Hopefully it's better now. It's gonna be very bad when this ends up on YouTube because I'm looking at whether there's people that can hear me or not in the chat. But I'm forgetting that it's actually recording and I'll put it up. So now I'm just doing sound checks live. Anyway, let's see. Better now. Da better now. Do better now. Yes. Sound is better now. Do better now. Down do better now. I still haven't gotten licensable music for my channel. So I guess I'll have to sing myself. Luckily for y'all, I'm a good singer, so that's why you gotta hear the boop, 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 better now. My sound is better now. Also, if my sound is not better, then you can't hear me, which solves everything. But yeah, boop, 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 better now. Boop, 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 better now. Boop, 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 better now. Boop, 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 boop. Sing the intro. First of all, I'm surprised you used your real name and surname on this channel, sir. Thank you, and thank you for letting me know about the sound. I'm surprised you used your real name and your real surname. I was expecting some incognito vibes. Also, actually, yeah, let me keep it there. Thank you for confirmation on the sound. I just skipped one very, very important step when I was doing the setup, which was selecting which input I'm using. So the whole thing was feeding into the laptop, which obviously doesn't have good sound input. Instead of my actual mic, my actual interface, my actual mic. Let's see if we can put it in the corner somewhere there. Yeah, it's better. So today we're going to be going through some stats from the LPC, essentially looking at where the legal industry currently sits in terms of salaries. I know students usually want to know, oh, how much do you guys get paid? Well, at least when I used to be part of the career phase, everybody would be like, but what's the pay like? I'm like, hey, I'm not telling you how much I make. Um, Now that I'm not technically a practicing lawyer, maybe I can say, or maybe I won't. So, yeah, but that's one of the most frequently asked questions. How much do candidate attorneys make? Which is weird because I think everybody imagines that candidate attorneys are similar to nurses and maybe police services recruits. Like there's a central body that just, yeah, we pay everybody until you find out that it's every man for themselves when it comes to negotiating. And if you're fortunate enough to land in a big or good firm, then obviously you're going to get paid a lot. But if you're not that fortunate, then it is what it is. But the LPC tried to just, hey, let's gather some info since we're the ones that oversee this sector. And they did come out with some interesting figures, but we'll touch on just exactly what did they find out as the LPC when they try to ask the legal profession how much candidate attorneys get paid. So I'm trying to see if there's at least one more person. Tabi, so thank you for joining. Please hit the like button or just the like, whatever that's in front of you. I don't know who else is here. Um, as much as I want to stop the lives, honestly, it's not because I don't like the format. I feel more comfortable doing these than I do when I film things and post things. Like when I film things and post things, I'm a bit more self conscious. I have to do a lot of takes when I speak. Here, I feel like I can make a mistake and people would just understand that I was speaking. I wasn't trying to rehearse something. But obviously, I mean, if it's more efficient to not do lives, probably should like be that way. Um, Again, usual thing. If you know a law student that should be here but they're not here, please invite them to come. Tell them we got an informative session, lots of research behind the session, so we're not just killing time or wasting people's time. So again, I'm hoping you know at least one law student. So if there's three people in the chat, hello Bonga, hi Bonga, Bonga, do you have a friend? If you do, please tell them to come to the session. Thank you, and thank you for joining. This says you're number two and gave you a crown. I don't know the significance of that because obviously I'm new to streaming. And thank you for the like as well. So yeah, that's the idea. Weirdly, we have an Assumption Instagram page. There's like 600 people that follow there. Always try to give them gems. Always try to give them some game until I'm like, hey, come attend the live, and they don't attend. What I'm gonna do as soon as this channel becomes prominent, if anybody ever asks me, hey, who do you believe, is a promising law student, I'm gonna consider live attendances. Like I'm really gonna look at who was actually attending these. And it's not obviously going to be the only criteria, but it's going to be a very, very important criteria for who do I end up believing wants to get a job in the legal industry and is good for it. So let's see. Okay, seems like only 6 people have seen the post so far. So maybe I'm like being too overzealous. But yeah, let me share my screen. That way, you guys can also share in the fun that's about to come here. I'm not gonna be sharing it on. Should I? I will. Yes, I have to. Let's see. Share screen. Oh, Chrome tab. Yeah, let's do it based on tab. Hmm. Oh, window. Let's share the Safari window here. There we go. Oh, I get what's happening. Great, great. Please give me a 1 in the chat if you can see the screen. I hope you can. I mean, it doesn't seem that hard or that complicated. But if you can see it, then I can just get going on this thing. Again, if you know a law student that should be here but isn't here, please tell them to join. Might start even paying, for telling people to join here. Also, who's seen our latest video? Thank you very much, Bonga. Who's seen our last video on YouTube regarding what was the video about? Weird. I made the video and now I'm the one that's forgotten what the video was about. No, it was about alternative places where you can work if you're not gonna end up in a law firm. Have you seen that video, Bonga? I know Taviso has. Taviso is a very diligent student. Very, very diligent, very thorough. He studies the game. I think maybe I should clarify what game it is. But I would. Okay, yeah. If you've seen the video, then you can just put a 2 in the chat. Just did you understand it? Bonga, yeah. Bonga, I mean, hopefully it's not too much to ask, but can you just maybe type into the chat, if there's anything you found interesting, if you still have any questions that are outstanding, maybe if there's any points of improvement for the video, just what was your sentiment on the video? Just tell me in the chat. Look, you can keep it brief if you want as well. You don't have to make it a long essay. Don't worry. You can just say even if a thumbs up might work if you prefer to not be so wordy and stuff. But yeah, what did you think about the video? Did you find anything interesting? Do you plan on actioning anything that's in that video? Because one of the things I try to do a lot with these live shows is make sure that there's something you can do after the video. Like there's always something you can go, whether it's immediately after, at any time that you feel like doing it. But I try to make sure that there's a practical element to it as well. That way, I'm not that guy on your screen always giving you facts about the legal industry or in. Even the tips I give are not tips where It's just, oh, I'll remember that. It's literally things that you're gonna have to go and do. So yeah, Bonga, if you could be so kind as to tell me, did you see anything interesting? Did you find anything interesting in the video? While Bonga gives us his or her feedback, I'm sorry on the pronoun side, I'll just start explaining what we're going to be talking about here because I think it was before Bonga joined and whoever else is here and Tabiso. But the idea is you are in university, you're obviously trying to get articles, and as if you have people that you can ask, you've probably started with that chat of, hey guys, how much do y'all get paid? Which firms pay the most, which firms pay the least. And I'm going to try and like give you guys an overview of what the LPC found out when they tried to do the same thing, when they asked the exact same questions that you might have about the legal industry. So what happened was in late 2022, this was around August or September, the LPC essentially launched a survey, and they directed the survey to practitioners and candidate attorneys. So by practitioners, I mean people that have been admitted and probably run law firms, and candidate attorneys. The idea was that they want to understand how much law students get paid. And not just that, but a lot of other interesting information about the legal industry. Essentially, they wanted to know about medical aid, about transport, about leave, and all that, right? So, essentially, as somebody who practiced, what the LPC does is that when you sign up, well, when you register either as a candidate attorney or as a practitioner, they'll keep your details, obviously, and then they'll send you correspondence on those details. So, what you sometimes get is just an email randomly from them. The most interesting one, before I go on with the main business of this, is every few months they publish a list of practitioners that have been struck off the roll of practicing attorneys or removed. So, removed is usually if perhaps you've passed away, perhaps you've moved to another country or whatever, but essentially you're no longer there. Struck off is usually you did something weird or something impermissible. It's like you're no longer fit and proper. Sometimes you even like a plain criminal. You've stolen trust money. You've done something essentially that's just not acceptable to the legal profession. So what you'd get if they were doing the survey is just a random email addressed to you, dear practitioner or dear candidate attorney, and then obviously they'd have a link to the survey, and then you log in, you'd probably have some drop down or something like that. Funny enough, when I was considering how to deliver this whole talk, I was trying to blame people that did not participate in the survey. And for some reason, I don't remember participating myself. So, and that's me being honest. Like, that's me being honest. I do not remember participating. Maybe I didn't get the email. Maybe I got the email. Okay, let me not prosecute myself actually, because if the LPC sees this, they're also gonna not like me that much because they're trying to do something important here. But essentially, they were trying to get a feel of the environment. Hey, how much do candidate attorneys get paid? And we want the lawyers to tell us because it's probably the guys that are hiring them. And we also want the candidate attorneys themselves to tell us, right? Now, going into the stats of what they actually eventually found out, right? Um, First of all, the results were not so positive. I think you'd imagine that because we live in a country where employment rates are low, but even for the people that are employed, there's a big inequality gap between those that get paid well and those that don't get paid well. The frustrating part was also the fact that the LPC did not get adequate responses to the survey questions. And this was really frustrating because once you are below a certain threshold when you're doing surveys, even when you do get answers, the answers are kind of unreliable. So, like, if they're bad, it's still a small sample of what you were trying to look at to a point where it doesn't really tell you much. If they're good, it's still so that was one of the main negative outcomes of that they couldn't get enough responses. And I'll give you an example, right? At the time, the legal profession had 15,000 candidate attorneys, right? At the time in 2022, around August, September. And would you guess how many responses they got? Less than 2,500. See, so here it is. You are a regulator. You're trying to help these, well, not students because you've graduated now. You're a regulator. You're trying to help the entry level people in the profession. You're trying to get an understanding of what they're dealing with, how much they're getting paid. You launched this survey to all of them. And out of 15,000 or over 15,000, you get less than 2,500 responses. So that was kind of disappointing for them, even for myself, just looking at it now, because I've been somebody that has relied on polls a lot. I post polls on the Samsung Instagram page, and you get that 100 people saw it, 20 replied, and you're like, what is with this? Like, why can't people give their thoughts on things? And to me, it's also very baffling because I'm like, you follow the page to get information, you expect information that's going to help you move forward. And if somebody's asking you, hey, what should we give you? And you don't say anything, you either end up not getting anything at all or getting things you don't want. So it's very counterproductive, to be honest. But let's go on. So don't even ask about the attorneys. Remember, I said they ask candidate attorneys and ask attorneys. With the attorneys, there was also the same story. You got a large sample of people that you've sent the survey to, and you get a very tiny amount responding. Now, to be fair, I did think about it a bit deeper, and my guess is kind of that with a lot of the other attorneys, they're not really the bosses in the firms. So for them, it's like, even if the survey responses come, I'm not about to tell you as the LPC how much the firm pays candidate attorneys because I don't run the firm. So somebody else has that role and information, and I'd probably just not answer on that basis. Actually, yeah, that's why I didn't respond, because in 2022, I was a practitioner. Like, I was already admitted at that time. And yeah, that's why I didn't respond. I have my excuse. Yes. I was looking for an excuse. Like, why did I not participate? I was already admitted. Not that I didn't care, but I couldn't answer it because I was now not a candidate attorney. So why would I speak on behalf of them? But anyway, the LPC is trying to get stats from students, trying to understand how much they get paid. If you have any questions at this stage, you can let me know. If you don't, again, please tell any student that you know about who isn't in the chat to come join. I'm going to continue with the stats. I'm not going to be monitoring the chat. So hopefully I don't miss anything that's important. But I'll just go into it, right? This is what they found. So, where are the stats? So the LPC launches this survey and they ask the students, hey, these are the questions, just answer as honestly as you can, right? Now, let's start. 12% of the, why did I say students? I meant candidate attorneys. 12% of the candidate attorneys said that they do not get paid to work as candidate attorneys. Yeah, that's the reality. Now, obviously, 12% isn't a big number overall, but this makes you wonder. I mean, you already have a lot of students that didn't even respond. Like what, 12,500 that didn't respond. So with those that didn't respond, is there additional students that could have also told us they don't get paid? Exactly what's the story with them? But that's one of the key findings that they had, that 12% of the candidate attorneys said that they do not get paid. And this was obviously disheartening because 4 years, you struggle for 4 years, you go and study and you come back and now you got the job, but you're not getting paid for it. It is a bit scary. And I think it's one of those things where whenever I look at law students and I get a sense that they do not feel the urgency of finding articles, I usually wonder if they know information like this. Because if you don't know this and you are now very lazy or you're not really focused on the broader mission of trying to secure your future, you end up being that person that just went through law school came out at the end of it, started looking for opportunities, and the best or only available opportunity for you is a candidate attorney position that will not pay you a salary. So usually I look at people and I'm like, if you're in a chat like this, even if maybe I do not give you any useful information, which I will, but even if I don't, at least you can take some inspiration. At least you can also be aware of anything else that might not have come to you as information. I think that's what helps. And if you're currently in the live, I'm grateful that you joined. Not for me, for you. I really feel like if you stick it through, you're going to start seeing why it's important to be in these avenues, to follow all the pages, whether it's myself or any other person that's trying to help you out. Anyway, 21.7% said they do not wait. Cool. I think I should clarify before I go on. So these are responses that were given by the attorneys first. So the way it goes is I'm going to start with what the attorneys said, and then I'm going to go into what the candidate attorneys said. They're reporting it separately because you can imagine it's an employer and employee type of vibe where the employers will tell us their answers, the employees will tell us their answers. So the 12% there, it was 12% of the bosses saying they do not pay their candidate attorneys, right? Anyway, go moving on. 21.7%. Let me actually pull this up as well on the screen here because it's going to make more sense. So these are the stats that I was going through around who participated, who didn't, and all that. This is directly from the LPC's own report, by the way. You can find it. I'll link it after the video is done. And this is the section dealing with, oh my God, come on. Christ on a cracker. Why is it not showing like this? I'm sorry. I did not know what's like this. Yes, it will keep it like this. I care, but I mean it's not helping me. Anyway, then you get into the 21.7%, right? 21.7% of the employers said that they don't even employ candidate attorneys. These are a lot of the sole practitioners. Sometimes it's even young people that just got their admission and decided to start their own firm. So at that time, they still under resourced, they still trying to find their feet, establish their client base and all that. So obviously they wouldn't have the ability to employ you. Now, what I could say, right? If you are a student and you're wondering, would it be better to work for no pay or to not work at all? I can tell you now, you're better off working for the 12% of the lawyers that said they do not pay their candidate attorneys. Obviously, not as a first prize, and maybe not even something that you take on in the first 6 months after you've finished with university. Maybe if you can start seeing how it's been a year and I still haven't gotten the type of opportunity I want. And also, if you're very adamant about being admitted, right? Because if you just want to get paid, there's also other opportunities and other jobs you can explore. And that's why the video that I did about the alternatives exist. It's so that if you find yourself in this spot where you've had 3 interviews and in all 3 interviews, they keep offering you the candidate attorney role, but they're not going to pay you, you can, if you're not so serious about getting admitted, you're still serious about being productive and working, but it's just being admitted means a lot, but it doesn't mean more than me getting some money to take care of myself or my family. Then you dip to the alternatives. Otherwise, then you can actually take on this task of working for no money. I mean, it also gives you the experience. So it could be that you treat it as the best I'm getting out of this is experience. I think it's disheartening if you have to even be at that stage or in that position. So by all means, try not to get there. Try to find people that can help you. Try to find programs that can help you, and try to make sure I do not end up not getting paid for what I do. Anyway, so you have the 21.7% that said they don't hire any kind of attorneys. And then you had 39.8% that said their firms require candidate attorneys to have their own transport. I read this and at first I was about to be and then I thought about it. I was like, it might actually just be a bicycle. I mean, I'm not saying bicycles are cheap, but I'm saying between a car and a bicycle, if somebody insists, they like, here's the job offer. but we're not letting you sign it unless you have your own transport. I'm coming back with a bicycle tomorrow. Not fancy, not ideal, but transport is a very broad term. So you can actually try and see if there's room to work around that. Anyway, 12.5% advertised, or sorry, 12.5% advise that their firms do not offer leave to candidate attorneys. Personally, I'd work for free before I work for somebody that will not offer me leave. I think in any case, right? And I don't know how this came to be the case. Like, I don't know if it's even permissible. I do not know what the Labor Relations Act says about this position, but it's an actual survey response. 12.5% said that they don't give leave to their candidate attorneys. Also, I do wonder if this is even practically possible because during December time, especially within the dispute resolution departments, there's really not much to do. The court's closed, the master's office is closed, the deed's office is closed. So I'm not sure what they mean by they do not offer leave. Also, you do need a firm that will give you leave for studying, right? Like you do need a firm that can give you leave for studying when your boards come. So think about that whenever you find, if you ever find yourself in a position where you got an offer, but whoever gave you the offer, the contract doesn't say anything about leave. Cool. 10% advise that their firms offer medical aid to candidate attorneys. This is great if you are looking at it from the positive statement side of it, in that 10% said that they offer medical aid. What about the 90%? Did they say they don't offer medical aid? What exactly is the position? So there is obviously a spectrum in which firms exist in terms of what they can offer you. You can imagine all the big firms will definitely give you medical aid, but the closer you get to smaller firms, it starts not being a thing. You're not going to get pension, you're not going to get medical aid, you're not going to get a lot of the you're not going to get any of the perks that the big firms would offer you. Personally, I was fortunate enough to start off in a firm that had medical aid, they had pension benefits, they had free lunch, they had a laptop that they'd give you just so you can start with the work, and it had everything built into it. They'd give you a phone as well. I think at some point there was an allowance as well for the phone. There was a lot of perks. And I think sometimes students, whenever you try to get them to stress about finding a firm, they just imagine employment, even though there's literally a broad range of other benefits that you can get just simply by landing the right firm. There's limited spaces, and you can imagine it's only probably 20% or 30% of the students that would get that. Not even 20. That's generous. It's a very limited list. Anyway, so let's get to salaries because I think that's what you guys are probably wondering mostly about. Like the survey was about salaries, so let's get to the salary parts. Any questions at this stage? Also, I think I asked Bonga to tell me how he found the video and no response. Bonga, if you're still there, I haven't forgotten what I asked you for. Anyway, let's go into the salary parts of things. Why is my screen showing this? This is so frustrating. Cool. Let's get into the salary part of things. That way you can actually see what exactly I'm talking about. So I'm imagining everybody here is competent in interpreting a pie chart and everything. The numbers speak for themselves. I'll just narrate the obvious, honestly, here. So you can see the large chunk there, the 42.64%. That's everybody that earns between 6,000 to 12,000 rands. That large chunk that you're seeing there. Personally, when I thought about it, I do think it makes sense. I do think it is, well, at least the higher portion of it. Because obviously, if you're earning 7,000, that makes slightly less sense for me. Not economically, I mean ambition wise. Economically, it is what it is. You can't change it. But I mean, when I was a student, my minimum, my minimum salary, and this is what I thought the big five law firms pay, was 15,000 rands. I wanted 15,000 rands. And for a few reasons. One, I knew that a lot of teachers at the entry level make that much money. So, like, I knew people who've graduated with degrees in education, they would earn either that or above. And I imagined a lawyer and a teacher. I mean, come on. Like, I cannot be a lawyer and then not make the same amount as a teacher. I do feel like the difficulty of our jobs, the importance of our jobs is equal, if not being a lawyer being better. So, and before I even go on, my thought was if I can get the 15,000, 5,000 for my polo, right? 5,000 for my apartment, and then 5,000 just to splurge and do all the nice things and stuff. Until you grow up and you find out that if you make 15,000, an apartment, a car, and your lifestyle are gonna not be what you imagined them to be. So I got a rude awakening when I found out, what the real world looks like. But I would say that if you end up finding yourself in a firm, especially one that has a good culture, by good culture, I mean it's good people. They'll teach you, they'll respect you, and when I say respect you, I mean when you're sick, they'll respect that. When you have exams coming up, they'll give you time. When you need coaching and guidance, they'll put you in the right platforms and give you the right opportunities. If you can get all of that, the higher side of this 6 to 12,000 rand range is actually fair for me, in my view. But if you're still a student, especially if you're a second year law student or a third year law student, still aim higher than this range a lot. Ubonga is back. Tando, I'm back. I had technical glitches from that video. I learned that there's private and public sector jobs. And the law field is not limited to CAs being exactly. Well, thank you. Actually, I'm glad at least you got to. Maybe you knew this before. I'm glad you got to reaffirm it. I'm glad you got to reaffirm it. If you know any other law students that you can share the video with, please share it. One thing I can tell you guys is if you're worried about what if I put the other people that I know onto these resources and then there's limited resources available for me. If that's your worry, that you might actually introduce somebody to our platform and then they actually end up thriving more than you because of that, do not worry. Take that out of your head. In fact, you're better off helping somebody now and having them owe you. I'm not saying bring it up all the time. Hey, you owe me, but you're better off actually establishing that relationship of remember when I put you on, right? Cool. So you have your big chunk there. That's the 6,000 to 12,000 range. And again, you've heard what I have to say about it. I do think it makes sense. I do feel like you can do better. You can do a whole lot better. You'd be surprised how better you can do. But that's not everybody. Just focus on you. Statistically, not everybody is going to get higher than this. Literally, it's here. But ambitiously, I'm one of those people that has. I respect statistics, but Itilulu is a real Solulu for me. So, yeah. And then you have your red there. You see the red there. The red is weird for me because it's like you're no better off than the green guys. Because that's everybody that earns less than 3,000. In fact, let's bundle everybody with the orange guys, right? If you're wondering why you should be ambitious, why you should be competitive, why you should try and stay up all night, why you should find all the study groups you can, find all the mentors you can, find all the resources you can, it's so that you don't end up on the green, the red, or the orange parts, where somebody who works at a warehouse and is only required to do technical stuff with their hands makes more money than you, who's been trained for 4 years on solving big technical issues, right? I think when you're in varsity, your mindset should be I'm being trained to solve issues here, and I'm going to get paid for solving those issues. which means now you're not focused on who can employ you. You're focused on what you can solve. And if you got good marks and you've also beefed up on all the important skills, you can be sure that you can solve big problems. And therefore, you can be sure that whenever you are expecting big salaries, you're not being unreasonable. So get the mindset of lack, you know, out your radar. Just do not think that there's a lack of money out there. There is, but that's not your problem. Your problem is finding an employer that will understand how valuable you are and hire you and give you the amount of money that matches your value. If you're not sure what your value is, you should be trying to figure that out now. And you should be trying to increase it if you discover that it's actually lower than maybe the next person that's in your class. Cool. The blue side is everybody who earns over 12,000. These are all the big five law firms, the international law firms, and all the candidate attorneys in the mid-sized law firms. Well, I'm not going to say all because I do not know the details, but I can definitely give you that it's people that work in the type of firms that you see whenever you have these career fairs. It's weird also that the people that pay the most are the people that recruit the most and come and are in your face the most. So by the end of the 4 year period, if you've been to any of the career fairs and your excuse is, well, I didn't know, what's available, it'd be very weird because all the people that could have paid you are the ones that are always in your face. So ideally, you want to end up in the blue section. You want to be part of that 20% stat where we actually get paid so much. We get paid more than our mothers. We get paid more than our fathers in some case. We are like the first generation lawyers in certain cases. You should be trying to be like, this is my spot. That's how I treated it. Personally, when I was still a student, I remember this because it was an irresponsible move. But I think sometimes if you believe in yourself, even irresponsible things make sense. I did not apply to any firm that wasn't a big five law firm or an international law firm. I just didn't bother. If you were not part of that group, I automatically imagined that the training you'd give me is not what I'm really excited for. The money you'll pay me is not going to pay for my polo that I wanted to buy at the time. So it was just something that I had in me to say, I have a standard for who I want to hire me. And my job is to work so hard that they recognize that for their standard, they're getting the perfect candidate. I did that, and I think you can too. So let's move on to what the candidate attorney said, because that's actually where I'm not going to say most of the action is, but I think it was just one of those things where there was a bit of a mismatch. My hunch is the mismatch in the answers just came from the candidate attorneys being more responsive than the attorneys, right? So it's like the proportion of candidate attorneys that responded was larger than the proportion of attorneys that responded. So you couldn't have matching stats where 10% said this on the candidate attorney side and 10% said this on the attorney side. I hope that makes sense to you. Cool. Now, these were somewhat good, somewhat bad, mostly bad, actually, if I think about it. So 54.4% said that they are required to have a driver's license. These are the candidate attorneys. And there's always been mixed sentiments around this requirement. This requirement is perfect if your employer is saying, hey, you're going to be required to attend to court, to go to client meetings, to go all these places. We have a car in the firm that you can use for that. But obviously, to drive it, you need a driver's license. Perfect synergy. You bring something, they bring something, right? The place where everybody gets angry is when the firms try to use this as a way to exclude Black kids, because they know that if they say that they want you to have a driver's license and you're a Black kid and you've never had a car before, so you've never even thought about having a driver's license, they know that it's a gotcha question. So I think one of the things that you can also try and do right now is, if you can afford it and if you can hustle for it, try to get your driver's license as soon as possible. That way, when you do land in a firm that has a car, you don't have to worry about, hey, what can I do? How can I claim? You can actually purchase, not purchase, you can actually request to use that car. And don't worry, there are protections around what happens if you get into an accident while in the car. If you were driving it to go to court or whatever, the firm would have already thought about that. They'll probably already have insurance for that. So you don't have to worry about, oh, I don't want to touch their property or anything like that. But yeah, 54% said that they're required to have a driver's license. Even my contract included that requirement at some point, which was weird because my firm actually had a car and a driver. That literally the driver would drive you to Pretoria if you were doing firm business. Literally take you to Pretoria, they would deliver documents for you and everything. But anyway, that's the stat, right? And then you had 57.5% who said that they are not required to have their own transport while serving articles. This is perfect because, again, another exclusionary or like mechanism that firms would use to exclude black kids would be to essentially require that they have their own transport. We black out here, we are not going to have our own transport. So whenever they ask that, you just see automatically that it's just for them to get you out the way. To be fair, it is a troubling issue for them, right? In that if we're a small practice and we're trying to get work done, we also need you to help. But to be fair, also, it's not your law firm, it's their law firm. And if you're doing their work, as much as you can have your own car, requiring it is a different story. But anyway, 30.2% said their firms cover the cost of registration for admission exams. So what happens is when you're about to write your exams, the LPC will essentially require you to register. You have to pay registration fees, and actually, you can't write if you haven't registered and paid the fees. So with a lot of the good firms, they'll actually pay these. Good firms will actually pay for almost anything that uplifts you and helps you in your journey to becoming a lawyer, especially when they intend to keep you. So they won't even try to even see it as an unforeseen problem or a burden on them. So that was the stat as well on that side. And then you had 67.2% who said that their firms do not pay for registration training offered by the Law Society of South Africa. This is called LEAD, right? So what happens is you have to attend a number of classes in order to get a certificate from LEAD. That way they certify that you're competent in certain modules. But you have to register for that, and it's a whole story, and there's a lot of dynamics around it. I wouldn't worry myself about this aspect just yet because until you are a candidate attorney, there's really not much you can do about it. In fact, even when you're a candidate attorney, there's really not much you can do about it until you have to write. Cool. Let's go into what the candidate attorneys said around their salaries. How much did they say they get paid? And to be honest with you, I trust these results more than I trust the ones we looked at because those ones came from the bosses. And I'm not saying they lied, I just don't trust them. Whereas these ones came from the students themselves. So it's like, let's snitch actually. How much do they pay us? Cool. So let's go into these. So you see the large chunk there, the 35%. That's everybody that earns between 6,000 and 12,000. Remember that we had a 42% figure that was kind of similar on the attorney's side. The attorneys said we pay a lot of our students 12, well, 6 to 12,000, and it was like 42%. We also kind of have the same range here. Not the same range, honestly. I mean, it is a big gap between 42 and 35, but you can see how the majority on that other side is still the majority on this side as well. So that's the big range. I've already told you what I think about it. I think it's not as bad as things can get, but you can do better. You don't focus on, oh, but there's not a lot of space. You can do better. And then we have the blue part, which is everybody that earns between 3,000 and 6,000. You do not want to be there. You don't want to be in the blue. You don't want to be in the green. You don't want to be in the yellow, the red. The not started part, I'm not going to explain. Please go read the full report from the LPC. But essentially, anything that's not in the 35%, you do not want to get there. No, actually, you do want to be in the green. I'm sorry. You do want to be in the green because the green is everybody that earns above 12,000. So essentially, you have your 35% who make between 6,000 to 12,000. You have your 31% who makes between 3,000 to 6,000. And then you have your green, which is probably everybody in the big law firms, probably everybody in the international law firms. Essentially, they make more than 12,000. So with these stats, I just want you to understand that it is competitive and it is bad for a lot of people. So whenever you get the opportunity to try and upskill yourself, to try and make something of your own situation, try to make sure that you're not a statistic at the end of things. Cool. Now, that's the first part of our business. We have 15 minutes left in this live. And what I'd like to do is offer everybody that's actually here, except for Tabiso, something that you did not expect. Please give me a sec. If you're here, you better not leave because this is the portion of the show with free stuff. And you guys know I'm good for it. I always give you all free stuff. Cool. Give me a second. Great. Now, this is the portion where you receive free stuff. Ooh. Okay. Don't know how that got there. Please do not forward this link to anybody. Please do not forward this link to anybody. So I'm going to explain to you what we're doing with this link right now, right? Do not forward it to anybody. Actually, yeah, I guess I have to explain it, even though it's premature, but I will have to explain it because there's no way you'll know, obviously. So, I'd like everybody to click on the link. Please click on the link. And then we're going to go systematically. If you've clicked on the link, please put 1 in the chat. The first person who puts 1, I'll direct them on how to move for this. It's going to be the same instructions for everybody, but I'll just do it one by one by one. Okay. Baby shark. Baby shark. Baby shark. Please do not tell me people left the chat just so they can go click on the link. That would be so funny. Like, that would be so funny. Because I didn't expect that. Like, killing the live just to have you guys do something. Sometimes I also forget that some of you, since you're students, you actually log in for these using the same phone for everything. So I always imagine everybody has a laptop in front of them and then they're just using their phone on the side. But I can see how a lot of students are using their phones. So you have to get out just to come back in. Cool. So if you've clicked on the link, please just drop a 1 in the chat and then I'll tell you the next steps. Baby shark, baby shark, baby shark, baby shark. Okay, Bonga is the first taker. So Bonga, I'm assuming on your side you're seeing a whole Typeform link. Please enter everything up until you get to question 9. I think everybody else can actually do the same, but when you get to question 9, just pause there and then you can let me know that you are at question 9. So it's very quick because a lot of it is just options and drop downs, but make sure you use your correct email address. Make sure that you have your CV as well. and try to paste it or upload it there using the link. Everybody else, please do the same. Goodness as well. Thank you very much. Make sure you populate everything, upload your CV, make sure it's your latest CV, like the latest copy. And then when you get to question 9, just come back and type done. And also remember not to send the link to anybody. This is your prize since you decided to attend and stick out with this whole thing. Baby shark, baby shark, baby shark, baby shark. I'm assuming everybody's still filling this out. I see there's somebody else that's joined. If you just joined, here's a link. Please go populate everything there. When you get to question 9, stop and come back and just type done. Do not go further than question 9. And also, if you go through, like, if you go further than question 9 and nothing happens, I don't know what to tell you because the instruction was populate everything, upload your CV, and when you get to question 9, just come back and tell us done. Don't close the form, obviously. Just come back and we'll tell you how to proceed. Don't close the form. Baby shark, baby shark, baby shark. I'm sorry, I'm anxious, so I start singing, and the best song in my mind right now is Baby Shark for some reason. I'm waiting for at least one person to say that. Oh, we got a like. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Actually, I think I'll just be clip farming for the next 8 minutes since we only got 8 minutes. So hit me, hit me, hit me. I hope you're not scared to upload your CV. Only you know what it looks like. So please, as it is, it's fine. If it's fine. Just upload your CV when you get to it. Make sure it's a PDF version of your CV, not a Word version. So like the actual CV that you'd send to employers. So do that. Get to question 9. Pause when you get to question 9. Come back and type done. Then I'll tell you what to do next. You're gonna like it actually. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Tabiso, are you still in the chat? The class rep. I'm not gonna be doing this after. In fact, this is your moment if you wanna do the screenshot thingy. This is all you're gonna get. I'm not doing this. Guys, you're taking too long. Like, this is not a long survey. This should be 2 minutes. Please, you're taking too long. Also, can I even stream? Well, not stream, but watch myself on stream. And by that, I mean watch from an actual separate device. I think I can. Ooh. Let's see. Oh, it's showing up. Okay, it is. Let me just focus on this again. Come back. Cool. Do we have anybody that's done? Essentially, you can see this as a demo try. for what we got in store for you guys. But I'd really like to see it work on actual students and see if perhaps it's something that you guys think is useful, if it's appealing or not. So let's see. Anybody done yet? Yet, guys, we gotta go groove. It's time. Let's hurry up. We gotta go groove. Uh Meanwhile, I'm just planning to watch TV. But some of the people that are here gotta go groove. So yeah, is anybody done, guys? Is anybody done? See, you're even getting 5 people now. So again, if you just joined, we have a link in the chat. I'll paste it again. Please go to that link, populate everything up until you get to question 9. When you get to question 9, please pause and then come back and type done on the chat. The first person to type done on the chat, I'll tell them what to proceed with and everything. Just populate everything. Done, done. Anybody? Done, done. Done, done. Anybody? Done, done, done. Anybody? Done. I'm not still not seeing anything. Also, it's still not too late to invite other law students if you know anybody that should be here but isn't here. It's weird because I sometimes I want to blame everybody that's here for everybody that's not here. Like, hey, I don't know. I grew up in one of those black schools where when you're in class but your friends aren't, the teacher will just heckle you. Hey, where are your friends? Like, bro, I'm here. How should I know where they are? But yeah, I always try to help myself. I do not heckle the people that are here for people that are not here. I guess I just expect you guys to bring a friend or something like that. But anyway, I'm waiting for at least one person to tell me that they're done. Done? Yes, no, no, done. Yes, no, no, done. Yes, no, no. I feel like you guys went to sleep. No way you're taking that long to fill out the form. Where are y'all? No, for real, where are y'all? Also, thank God I'm doing this because I'm passionate about it. Because otherwise, I do not want to even imagine the otherwise. So yeah, please populate everything and let me know once you've populated everything until you get to question 9. Question 9, you pause, you come and type done in the chat. Funny enough, a good predictor for whether you can be a great lawyer or not is whether you can take instructions or not. Um, like your ability to understand and follow instructions is really, really a big predictor. And I'm not saying you can't have instances of miscommunication or just, I don't know, something happening, but your ability to really know what you are asked to do, to really know when you've done it, like to tell, okay, yeah, this is this is the standard that was given to me. That helps a lot. So if you're done, please type done in the chat here, and then I'll tell you what to do next. I'm guessing also a lot of you are now puzzled around some of the questions. It's like, how do I answer this? How do just answer honestly, like especially your name and email. Like at least get those like as accurate as possible. But yeah, everything else, just answer it as honestly as you can. Just rate yourself. It's not a typical poll. That's what I can tell you. It's there's a There's treasure at the end of this survey rainbow, if you can call it that. Anybody done? Done? No, no, guys. I think Tabiso should just go and do this actually. Tabiso, please go do it. I believe in you actually. I think you'll come back soon and like, hey, I'm done now. I think I should also pull this up. Meanwhile, I don't know, just for the aesthetics of this chat. Because I don't want to see myself too much. And while it's there, I'll try to like do some clip farming. Because yeah. Somebody actually told me that I spoil you guys. Apparently, if I was being smart about things, you've been dying to do it. You've been dying to do it. It's not gonna help you. It's for law students. So that's why I was like, don't do it, because it's not gonna help you. I didn't just get to question 9, but stop there. Don't do anything further. Yeah. So anyway, it'd be nice to hear what you guys think about these salaries. I'm gonna post this actually as a poll. See how you guys react to it, because this is the reality of most of the candidates. Not this is the reality of, yeah, I'll say most, because the ones that didn't respond didn't tell us what their reality is anyway. So I'm guessing it's probably aligned with this. But this is the reality of candidate attorneys in the country. There are efforts to try and improve this, to be honest with you guys. So the LPC, the Law Society, a lot of important government bodies are trying to establish, can we do grants in certain cases where we subsidize how much the students earn. In certain cases, they're also trying to help firms be a bit more profitable, and that way they can actually be able to pay the students what they need. But it's not ideal for you to go through a 4-year degree, especially one that equips you with the type of knowledge that a law degree equips you with, and you come out of it and at the end you have to earn money through a grant. Like, that's not the ideal part. You're obviously not expected to change the economy in any way, like you can't do that, but your circumstances, your standards, everything about you should be trying to avoid the worst of these stats. Now, I've thought about it, and maybe this is something that's not obvious if you haven't practiced before and you don't have the type of knowledge that I have. But there's a lot of legal tasks that you can do even without articles or admission. There are things that you can't do legally. It's not, you're not permitted to get paid to do those things unless you're an admitted attorney. Like, there are rules around that, but there's also a wide range of things that you can do without being admitted. So you can imagine when companies are being registered, I think at the least, as somebody who has an M&A background, know how to register a company for somebody, not just going through the CIPC admin and filling out details. Understand how shares work, understand how share certificates work, understand how resolutions work, and at least be able to do those type of things. Similar to things like complaints to ombuds, ombud requirements. I think there's a lot of things that are easily digestible to you as a graduate, such that, yeah, you'll struggle to find a firm that will give you a candidate attorney position, but you won't struggle to find ways to apply your craft. um, Things like, one thing I would have loved to do if I was still a student was study the Consumer Protection Act from the start to the finish. The good thing is, a lot of the things, yes, Bonga's done. I'll continue with this blah 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 later. So Bonga, what you're seeing is a tool that we're trying to establish for law students. And I'm not going to explain what the tool or how it works now, because this is a public video and a lot of it is still kind of sensitive information. If you've started using it, you will see for yourself. So now that you've gotten to question 9, ne, I'd like you to do question 9 and 10 in the next minute. Just complete those, question 9 and number 10, quickly, as quickly as you can. Please, you have like 2 minutes. This is like me opening the door for you and being like, go in, go out fast. So please complete it and then click submit. As I said, that's not a survey. It's not a survey. It is obviously in a survey format, but I'm not just, oh, tell me what you think. That's why I'm not worried about only 5 people doing it. So yeah, if anybody is just joined, I don't know if I should paste the link again. I think it's in the chat though. I'm not gonna do that. I hope the chat also doesn't show after I post the video because I'm not trying to have people use this link for anything else. So yeah, please, Bonga, just finish it, click submit quickly. As we wait for Bonga to do the thing. Bonga, the last 2 questions are not that hard. You can just quick, in and out. And that took too long, actually. That took way too long. I don't know. Were you nervous? What happened? Like that took way too long. So yeah, just quickly send it over. Send it over. Not us discriminating against Tutaviso. Poor thing. Thank you for submitting, Bonga. Is anybody else done? Like, is anybody else? Yeah, I'm done now. Okay, we got 5 people, and you guys are not answering. Yes, Bonga. Thank you, Bonga. I can see you done on my side. Thank you very much. And you'll get your prize, if we can call it that, just now. Just give me a second. Yes. Thank you. I saw. Thank you so much. I think maybe there's a lag as well here. So sometimes I'm behind when you guys are confirming stuff. So if you hear me heckling, you just ignore me. I'm an old man. Yeah, just hey, it's fine. So what I wanted to show you guys, and hopefully this works as intended, is something that Assumption is trying to build for law students to help them with all the difficulty of trying to understand where to start when you're trying to work on your profile. I think if you've been part of these lives, you've heard me a lot of times say that it's not helpful to do a once-off live session just touching on 100 issues. Even if you title it a workshop, title it whatever you title it as, I think its usefulness lies in how many people it can help. Obviously, not everybody's gonna sign up, but how many people is it capable of helping, right? And also if it ends up being available after. So whatever you're doing, whether it's a talk, a lecture, I don't think it's helpful if that thing is just here now and then it's gone tomorrow, and then anybody who wants to rely on it later is not still getting it, right? Great. Enough with the blabbing. So, great. So, Bonga, what I'd like you to do is check your email, please. And then, I think anybody else who's done can also submit. So if you also at question 9, complete question 9, complete question 10. Bonga, on your side, what I'd like you to do is check your email, and we have a nice present for you there. You're not done, to be fair, but I think for what's there, you can just follow the link and then just check the email, and once you got the email, I'd like you to screenshot it, the whole email, and post the content and tag Asamson, the Asamson page. I'm not sure if you have Instagram. If you don't, obviously, I'm not trying to make you open a whole account, but that is what I'm requesting on your side. Open it, and then you and I can have a chat after. You can tell me, what do you think about everything? Is it something that, you found useful or anything? And if you know of any other law students, I'm not hiring you to be an ambassador, but you are responsible for telling them about this whole thing. Don't give them the link. Just tell them that, look, this is what I received by going into this live. And if you were there, you would have gotten the same as well. But perhaps you can still try to email that Samsung guys and see if they can like give you something similar. But for you, Bonga, actually it's yeah, I get told that I'm whack for doing things like this, but ngiyabonga, because this is actually very beautiful. So check the link, go there and see what's on your mailbox, and yeah, I'll post about it later and just try to explain a bit more about what we just did. Anybody else who's also done theirs, please feel free to like submit through. And if you don't, that's fine as well. But I think for this video, what we try to do was try to get a range of the salaries. And then everything you've been seeing with Bonga and the links was just us trying to test the latest prototype that Samsung is building for law students. It's going to be news soon because obviously there has to be a whole launch about everything. But I think for everybody that's here, thank you very much for joining. Bonga, on your side, if you have anything to say, please let me know. If you don't have anything to say as well, that's fine. But I think you got the whole present on your mailbox. If you didn't, I don't know what to tell you. But I think you did. But thank you to everybody that joined. I'm really grateful for you just giving your Saturday and trying to be attentive and trying to join and help yourselves out. So yeah, I wish you guys all the best. I'm gonna do it, Tabby. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Yay!